You know that feeling, right? You write something and it just feels weak. It's vague, but you can't quite put your finger on why. Well, today we're gonna fix that. We're diving into how to turn those fuzzy statements into writing that's powerful, specific, and just full of authority.
So let's start with a really simple sentence. Take a look at this. Rohim is a very good player. I mean, on the surface, it seems fine, right? It's simple, it's positive. But here's the real question. Does it actually have any impact? Let's dig in. So, what's actually wrong with it? Well, it's not the grammar, that's for sure. The real problem is just how vague it is. You see, a weak statement is one that creates way more questions than it answers. It makes your reader do all the heavy lifting, and that right there is a huge red flag for weak, unauthoritative writing.
Okay, first up, the problem with good. We're gonna turn those vague statements into some really clear assertions. So let's talk about why a word like good just falls flat. It fails to persuade anyone. And the secret to fixing it? It all starts with asking the right questions to see just how little detail is actually there.
Think about it. The second you read, "He's a very good player," your brain just automatically starts firing off questions. Like, what kind of player? A defender? A striker? And who says he's good? Why do they think that? What is very good even based on? See? When your reader is busy asking all these questions, they're not actually getting your point. They're stuck trying to figure it out all by themselves.
Now check out this transformation. This is a total game changer. We didn't just sprinkle in a few extra words. No, we ripped out that vague word good and replaced it with a specific, concrete, undeniable achievement. The new sentence doesn't just tell you he's good, it proves it with cold, hard facts.
And this right here is the absolute core of the technique. It's all about this idea, tell me you're good without actually saying you're good. Instead of just making claims, you present the evidence. You let the facts do the talking for you, which is, just infinitely more powerful.
All right, next section, writing in sharp focus. And we're talking about the power of putting numbers to things. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because it's not always as easy as sports stats. What do you do when you need to describe something abstract, something like love or respect? How do you handle that?
So let's say we wanted to add that extra layer of detail. We write that his local community loves and respects him. And boom, suddenly we're right back where we started. Love and respect. It's a beautiful sentiment, but it's an emotional claim. And just like the word good, it's super vague and feels impossible to measure. Or is it? This is the old way of doing it, right? Everyone loves and respects him. It sounds great, it carries a lot of emotional weight, but honestly, it has zero real substance. It's just an empty claim until you can back it up with some actual proof.
So how in the world do you make something like love tangible? Simple. You find a number that proves it exists. For instance, this one, 100,000. That's not just some random number, that's the amount of money a local patron invested in him for a whole year. See, that's not a feeling anymore, that's a quantifiable action. And here's another piece of evidence. 50,000. This number? It represents the seed money for a charity that was started in his name. Once again, we've taken this abstract idea of respect and turned it into a concrete, powerful number that nobody can argue with.
This is the new way of thinking, love in numbers. By translating these vague feelings into specific, measurable actions, your writing instantly gets this incredible authority and credibility. You're not just making claims anymore, you're presenting cold, hard data. Okay, so let's take this whole idea and apply it somewhere really practical, like when you're writing a resume. We're gonna use a super simple but incredibly powerful framework to do it. It's called the PAR framework. PAR stands for problem, action, and result. It's just a really straightforward, repeatable way to structure your accomplishments. And when you use it, you present your story with so much clarity and impact that there's just no room left for any questions. So let's actually watch how a weak statement on a CV can evolve into something amazing. We start with something vague, like I hired high-quality people. Okay, then we add a number, but that's still not the whole picture. Next, we have to state the problem we were actually trying to solve. But wait, even that can be too vague until we put a number on the problem itself. And only then, once we have all those pieces, can we put it all together into one bulletproof story.
And here is the final product. Just look at this. This one single sentence tells a complete story. It kicks off with the problem, the team was 67% inefficient. Then comes the action, I created a new assessment. And it finishes with the result, hires who were 88% better. It's short, it's packed with data, and it literally answers every single question a hiring manager could have before they even think to ask it.
So, all of this leads us to our final section, the authority principle. This is all about proof, precision, and persuasion. And there's one last super important distinction we need to make about where and how you use all these numbers.
It really comes down to this: general writing versus research writing. Look, in general writing, like on your resume, it's pretty much understood that your numbers, like saying your hires were 88% better, are based on your own well-reasoned assumptions, or maybe some internal company data. Proof isn't required. But if you're writing a formal research paper, it's a completely different ballgame. Every single number has to be backed up by a source you can cite. That's the crucial difference.
So, to wrap everything up, here's your toolkit. This is what you need to remember. First, always question your own writing. Ask who, what, why, and how. Second, get rid of those vague adjectives and replace them with specific facts. Third, quantify everything you possibly can, even the fuzzy stuff. And finally, when you're telling a professional story, use that amazing PAR framework. I promise, these 4 things will immediately make your writing so much stronger.
And look, this isn't just some abstract lesson. This is a practical tool you can start using, like, right now. Think about that email you're about to send, or that report you've been working on, or maybe even your own resume. My question for you is this: what's one vague sentence you're going to sharpen up today?